Hi everyone, this is my first video on the channel. This channel is mainly going to be about stuff related to computer programming and competitive programming. We'll go into the topics like discrete math, probability, and also like some computer programming problems. Here's a good example. In this problem, reverse words in a string, we are given an input string s and we have to reverse the order of the words. A word is defined as a sequence of non-space characters. The words in s will be separated by at least one space. Return a string of the words in a reverse order concatenated by a single space. Note that S, which is the string, may contain leading or trailing spaces, which means spaces in the beginning or at the end, or just have multiple spaces between those two words. The return string should have a single space separating the words. Do not include any of the extra spaces. So let's look at some examples, and then we can get started. Okay, so here's example number 1, which is the sky is blue. So wait, the sky is blue. So basically what we're trying to return is this right here. So the idea of how we're going to do this, you guys can see the code solution right now, is this is the iterative version and this is the recursive version. So I'll explain both of these methods. In this method, what we're first doing is we're splitting all of the we're splitting the string, which is s, right? So instead of it having s in string form, this is what we're doing. We're changing it into a list of strings. So like this, the sky is blue. Okay, then from there, the second part of the code is this colon minus 1. This colon minus 1, oh, whoops. This colon minus 1 basically means that all we're going to do is we're going to go through the list backwards with a step of minus 1. So we're starting at minus 1 and then we're going keep going backwards, right? So that means this is what we're doing. So we're going to start from here. We're going to start here, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, and lastly we reach this, right? And so now we've changed the array again, and we've gotten this, but in array form. So imagine there's commas, and so it's like this, right? And then what we're doing lastly is using the dot join method. The dot join method is basically just taking everything in the array. So this is the array currently, and we're taking everything in the array and just putting it back into string form. So now it'll be as if we have gotten rid of it, like stop putting it in array form, and now it's back in string form. So that's the first method. The second, okay, and we can see that this is working. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now the second method that I will be explaining today is the recursive method. Recursion is a simple, relatively simple topic in computer science. It's calling a function within itself. So let's take the same example. The sky is blue. So let me get this set up really quick. Okay, so yeah, the sky is blue and this is a string, right? So now what recursion basically is calling a function within itself, but using like a smaller case. So that way you eventually end up to the smallest possible case and then you build back out. So let's take this. So in this case of recursion, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be splitting we're going to be splitting this, technically splitting this string into two parts. Sky is blue, right? So now imagine we magically reverse this part. So we magically somehow turn this into blue is sky, and then the last part is fixing this. Now we just have to add the rule for how we're going to reverse. Think of this as one part and think of this as the second part. The rule is how are we going to reverse part 1 and part 2, right? So what we're trying to get is blue is sky the. Okay, so now what we're doing here is we're what first this code is actually written in one line, but here we can expand it really quick. So we're saying if the length of the in one line code, the condition always goes at the end. So but in multi-line code, the condition goes at the beginning.
Yeah, so let's get started. If so, here we're saying if the length of s dot split, which we used before, is greater than or equal to 2, then we can go through this recursive logic right here. So now let's make this a little bit easier. Actually, we'll make a variable really quick. Let's just call this blank space. So blank space is s dot index of an empty space. So dot index is actually a command given to us by Python, which simply gives us the first index of whatever we're looking for. In this case, the first empty space. And here, what we're going to do is if the length of s dot split is greater than or equal to 2, then and you have to call self because it's inside its own function. Self dot reverse words s at here, see up here, you might notice that we used s dot index, but just to make this more clear to understand, we'll just put blank space, and we're doing +1 because it is inclusive, and the colon just means go on, like from that point forward, and then we do dot strip, which is to get rid of the unwanted spaces. So what this small piece of of the total recursion is doing is saying first, let's take the case of s. Let's take the first test case. So it's finding the first space, which is right after the, and then it's saying from that point onwards, I want you to reverse it. So this will give us blue is sky, as we talked about before, and then it's stripping it because it doesn't want, in case there's like, let's imagine there's 5 spaces here. We don't want those 5 spaces. We just want 1. So this bit is just reversing part 2 as we talked about, and then all we have to do is add in a space because we're imagining a smaller test case, which is just 1 extra word, and then all we have to do now is say the part that we cut off before. We want you to add that in, which in this case is the because before we cut from this point onwards, so now we're including this part that we missed. So this would just be s colon up to blank space as we named it before. Oh, as we named it before. Yeah. Yeah, and then we just dot strip the whole thing. So let's add a parentheses there, dot strip. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, wait, actually, I forgot to comment this. Okay, now let's see if this works. Okay, so actually I made a mistake there. This actually won't work because this index has to update every time for every smaller call. So now all these blank spaces that we see, let's just replace them with this s.index. Let's close this here. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, blank space, so we can put s.index there, and blank space, s.index there. Okay, now let's see if this works. Perfect. So that's both iteration and recursion. This is the expanded form, so now we can just comment this and go back to this. Perfect. So yeah, that is my first video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please follow the channel for more such videos.